When I stepped in, she was standing over my daughter's little pink jar, my puppy. My wife didn't even look up. "I deserve it more," she said, slipping the bills into her purse. That sentence carved something inside me. Not sharp, slow, quiet, like a blade dragged along skin, just enough to open. I didn't say a word. I watched her walk past me, perfume heavy, eyes dry. She looked at me the way people look at furniture, something that's just there. My mother-in-law was on the couch, sipping tea. "She works hard," she murmured. "Let her treat herself." I nodded, the way people nod at eulogies. That night, my daughter cried herself to sleep, one small hand clutching the empty jar. I sat beside her, tracing the glass rim with my thumb. It was cold. That's when the silence inside me broke. Not loud, just final. I didn't make a scene, but something in me started planning. The next morning, she kissed me on the cheek, said, "Don't look so serious," and left in her new shoes. The same shoes my daughter's savings had bought. I watched her drive off, the taillights blinking like a heartbeat. The car turned left, always left, toward downtown, where she said her office was. But she hadn't worked in 3 months. Company restructuring, she said. Severance pay. Enough to breathe. I'd believed her, because belief is cheaper than confrontation. That afternoon, my daughter asked, "Dad, can I save again?" Her voice was small, careful, like she was afraid money could hear her. "Of course," I told her, and something inside me whispered, "You will." At dinner, my wife laughed too easily, drank too fast. Her phone never left her hand. She smiled at it more than she smiled at me. I started noticing things. Perfume that wasn't hers. Receipts that didn't match her words. Her mother's silence whenever I walked into the room. They thought I was slow, too kind, too dull to see. But I was just quiet, because quiet people remember everything. I started with her phone bill, numbers, patterns. One name appeared too often, L. I waited until she fell asleep. She slept hard. Guilt has that effect. I opened her phone. No lock. A mistake she would never make again. L wasn't a woman. It was Leonard, her boss, the one she swore had moved to another branch. The messages weren't poetic. They were efficient. Dates, rooms, pictures that weren't supposed to exist. My pulse didn't rise. It sank. I saved everything. Every word, every image. Because truth isn't truth until you can prove it. Then I waited. For 2 weeks I played the part. The quiet husband. The forgiving fool. I packed her lunch. I smiled when she laughed. I kissed her cheek when she came home smelling like someone else. She thought I was blind, but I was memorizing her tells. The way her pupils dilated when she lied. The way she used our daughter's name to soften her guilt. One night, she told her mother she was working late. They shared a look. I watched from the hallway, unnoticed. Her mother said softly, "He'll never find out." That's when I smiled, because she was wrong. I already had. Friday. The DNA test came in, the one I'd ordered after noticing how my daughter's eyes weren't like mine. Not brown, not even close. I stared at the report. It didn't scream, it just ended me quietly. Probability of paternity, 0.00%. I read it again and again, until the words became shapes, and the shapes became a weapon. When she came home that night, laughing, I handed her the envelope. "Open it," I said. She hesitated, then she did. Her smile collapsed in stages. Confusion, recognition, terror. Where did you—" I didn't answer. Silence has more weight than words. Her mother came in, saw the paper, froze. I turned to her. "You knew," I said. Not a question, a verdict. She didn't deny it. My wife started crying, calling my name like it could undo the numbers on that page. I just stood there, watching the world they'd built for me burn quietly, efficiently. The next morning, I packed my daughter's things. Not hers, mine. The one thing in this house that was still innocent. When my wife woke, she found me sitting at the table, calm, unreadable. Her mascara was smudged. She'd been crying all night. "You can't take her," she said. I looked at her for a long time. Then I slid another envelope across the table. Bank statements, her purchases, her withdrawals, from our joint account, from my daughter's jar, from every piece of trust I'd ever given her. "Take them," I said. "You earned them." She flinched, because she finally understood. I wasn't fighting for custody. I was leaving her with herself. Her mother reached for me, pleading. I walked past them both, every step deliberate. At the door, I turned back once. "Tell Leonard," I said quietly, "the jar was always empty." And I left. We live in a small apartment now. My daughter has a new jar on her shelf. Same color, different sound. Sometimes she asks why Mom doesn't visit. Mine. The waiting became a knife. I let it cut me, silently, until the envelope arrived. The lab results were clear, irrefutable. My daughter, 16 years of laughter, scraped knees, whispered secrets, was not mine. Blood doesn't lie. It marks you, or erases you. I held the report in my hands, the weight of it heavier than any weapon I'd carried. That night I placed it on the table between us. She looked at it, then at me. Her face drained of color. Her lips parted, but no sound came. I didn't speak. I let silence strangle her. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Line by line, the truth bled into her eyes. She pressed her palm to her mouth as if she could hold the confession inside. Tears came. Explanations followed. Years of excuses condensed into choked words. I listened, cold, detached. Not once did I raise my voice. Not once did I move toward her, because I already knew, and she knew I knew. I slid my phone across the table. On the screen, the number she'd been calling, saved under another name. I didn't have to tell her I'd traced it. She recognized it instantly. Her eyes widened, her breath hitched. She tried. I cut her off with silence. I leaned forward just enough for her to feel the weight of my composure. I trained men to break under pressure. Do you know how? Her tears blurred her vision. She shook her head. Not by shouting, not by force, by letting them watch their lies collapse on their own. I stood, collected the report, left it in her trembling hands. Then I walked out the door. No threats, no promises, just absence. Clean, surgical, irreversible. The night air was sharp, cold, honest. I didn't feel rage, not anymore. Rage is messy, consuming. This was cleaner. I thought of my daughter, hers, not mine. I would still protect her, still guide her, because betrayal doesn't erase love, it only erases illusions. As for her, she would live every day with the silence I left behind, with the weight of truth pressing down on her chest, making it hard to breathe. That was the only revenge I needed. I lit a cigarette, the flame trembling just once before holding steady. Inhale, exhale. The smoke rose, the past with it. And in the quiet, final clarity, I realized I hadn't lost a family. I had shed a lie. Final line. Sometimes the cruelest thing you can do is leave someone alone with the truth.